Hey, delighted to have you here as always on the first year freelancing channel. Today's topic is going to be 4 things you should know before you start freelancing. So anyone who's thinking about going freelance or considering leaving their job and working for themselves, this is a perfect video. If you've recently started or in the early stages, hopefully you can get some value from this in terms of reflecting on how you've had the start to your freelance career go. So the first thing is that you have to be disciplined. It's really important that you understand that, because you may have come from an employed background where you have a set working hours. Let's say they're 9 to 5. You have a schedule of activity you need to complete or tasks you need to do in the day delegated by your line manager, and you work your way through and you deliver those tasks. Maybe you need to do some overtime here and there to keep up, but that's how it works. Once you go freelance, all that structure is gone. It's completely down to you to set what you're doing in terms of your schedule, your structure, how you're going to manage your day, your times, your tasks, all that sort of thing. So without discipline, it's very easy not to, wake up at the right time, not to get to your desk ready to work on client activity, because there are lots of distractions, of course, out there, and you don't have to do these things. Whereas as an employee, to an extent, you do have to maintain your job. But when you're working for yourself, if you don't have that inner drive and motivation, it's easy to let that discipline slip, and sadly, particularly when you're starting out, your freelance business will not succeed if you don't maintain the discipline. Now, over time, you can obviously be more kind of cute in how you manage your time and schedule to make sure you're working on creative work when you feel best, that you're doing deep work when you can exclude all distractions. But at the start, you really need to ensure you're filling out a schedule when you're working towards it, and you have that consistency in terms of timings and hours that you're putting in, because you're going to get the rewards of that in time, but only if you put that work in. So it's crucial you have discipline. An important thing to know. The second thing is, and ties into this, is you're going to have to do tasks you don't want to do. Now, as an employee, it's likely you also had to do some tasks you didn't want to do, but as a freelancer, everything is your responsibility. So in terms of financial side of things, obviously as an employee you might have been getting a wage slip, be getting paid every month, and you don't have to think about it. Now it's up to you to do the invoicing, to be billing clients, chasing clients, organising, checking payments going into bank accounts, that sort of thing. There's no IT support team that you might have had as an employee at a company. You need to fix anything that goes wrong. You're responsible for all those things. And there's many other examples, marketing, sales, all that sort of stuff that you may not have had responsibility for, you now do as a freelancer. And of course, some of those tasks are going to be things that you don't want to do, but you just have to do them to keep your freelance business going and to make it successful. Again, later down the line, you can delegate some of these tasks and you can outsource some of them. And I do think that's a good thing to do, but I do advocate that every freelancer starts off with trying every task that you have to manage as a freelancer, because at the very least you'll find out the ones that you like and you don't like, but you'll also be able to understand how they work, so that when you are delegating and outsourcing, you're not just delegating something you have no clue about. You're delegating a task that you've tried yourself, you understand the nuances of it, how it works, and then when you pass that on, I believe you're in a much better position to choose the person to outsource to, but B, understand that process and see the value that you're getting from it as well. The third thing is that you can never stop marketing yourself. So even though you may have a nice kind of client base, you may have some projects that you're working on, you might have even scheduled months in advance, for example, you can still never take your foot off the gas when it comes to your own marketing, because as we know with freelance, things can change quickly. Clients may make a decision, even if you're doing a fantastic job, they may say, because you've done such a good job and their business is growing, they've now decided to bring on an agency or to bring someone in-house. And again, that might mean that you're still involved, but at a lesser extent, or completely out of the picture, even though you've done a great job and you're working with a great client. So it doesn't necessarily mean because you're busy and you have great client relationships, the picture won't change. So the safest leverage you can have is to market yourself consistently so that you're getting inbound leads. And even if you get to a point of excess inbound leads that you can't handle them, the beauty of that is you can then be very specific about who you want to work with. And of course, you can increase your freelance rates in terms of your pricing, because you're in demand, supply and demand, you've got a lot of leads coming in, you're offering great value to your clients, and you can charge more. Without that, even if you have a nice little client base, it's difficult to shift your pricing model, because you know that if a client won't accept it, you don't have someone ready to replace them. It's just a mindset thing as well as the reality of that actually happening. So crucial that you continue to market yourself, and something you should know is that you cannot take your foot off the gas when it comes to that. And the final thing you should know about freelancing before you get started is it is an amazing way to earn a living. It's a fantastic way to start your self-employed career. As I said in other videos, it can be a long-term career as a freelancer, which is fantastic. I know many people have built successful freelance careers, but if you do want to go on to maybe run an agency, run a business, become an entrepreneur, a freelancer is such a great place to start because, as I said on the second point, you have exposure to all these tasks that you would never have learned otherwise, and that sets you in great stead for going on to build a business, or even, as I say, if you do just maintain that freelance lifestyle, it's fantastic. You can work at the hours you want when you get to that point, you can work with the type of clients you want when you get to that point, and you can really just build a business that you enjoy, fits in with your lifestyle, and is super successful. But it's crucial that you follow those other steps I mentioned earlier to be able to get to a point where you can have that level of freedom and autonomy as a freelancer. So 4 quick things I believe it's really important you know before you get started. As always, let me know in the comments if you would add anything else to that or have any other thoughts. And thanks again. I'll see you on the next one.